Hello friends, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Hope you are all fine. Earlier we had talked about the Save Dal Lake, Save Hangul, and today we are going to discuss about Save Tiger project. Alright, then let's start. First of all, मैं आपको बता दूं अगर आप चैनल पे नए हैं तो मेक श्योर आप चैनल को ज़रूर सब्सक्राइब करें. Alright, then let's begin with brief introduction. जो प्रोजेक्ट टाइगर इनिशिएटिव है, एज यू नो, इट वाज लॉन्च्ड इन 1973 विच इज़ वन ऑफ द इंडियाज़ मोस्ट सक्सेसफुल वाइल्ड लाइफ कंजर्वेशन प्रोग्राम. एंड ये जो प्रोजेक्ट है, दिस प्रोजेक्ट प्राइमरली aims at to protect the Bengal tiger and to ensure their survival for their natural habitat. And over decades जो laws या जो protected areas या जो forest guards हैं, they have played a major role in stabilizing the tiger population. However, जो long term conservation efforts हैं, that cannot depend on the laws and enforcement. बट इसके लिए आल्सो ज़रूरत है चेंज इन द पब्लिक एटीट्यूड, स्पेशली अमंग यंग चिल्ड्रन एंड यंग पीपल, जो कि शेप कर सकते हैं फ्यूचर पॉलिसीज़ एंड बिहेवियर्स को. एंड एनवायरमेंटल एजुकेशन प्रोग्राम्स जो हैं दैट आर आल्सो सेंटर्ड अराउंड ऑन द टाइगर, विच आल्सो एम्स एट टू ट्रांसफॉर्म फियर, ignorance and indifference into pride, empathy and responsibility. And in these programs जो टाइगर है उसको प्रेजेंट किया जाता है not only a wild animal but also a flagship species that represents the health of India's forests and ecosystems. ठीक है. First talking about the flagship species concept in attitude change. फ्लैगशिप स्पीशीज़ जो है, इट इज़ वन ऑफ द पॉपुलर एंड वेल नोन एनिमल जिसको यूज़ किया जाता है टू रिप्रेजेंट एंड टू प्रोटेक्ट एन एंटायर इकोसिस्टम. एंड जो टाइगर है, इट इज़ आइडियल फॉर दिस रोल बिकॉज जो टाइगर है, इट इज़ अ लार्ज पावरफुल एंड कल्चरली सिग्निफिकेंट एनिमल एंड इट सिट्स एट द टॉप ऑफ द फूड चेन. एंड इसकी जो प्रोटेक्शन है, दैट also means protecting forests, rivers, soil and biodiversity. And environmental education programs जो है, they also explain to children that कि जो tiger conservation है, that also means saving everything that lives with it, including trees, birds, insects, prey animals and even humans who depend on the forest resources. Thus जो tiger है, it becomes an umbrella species under which जो entire ecosystem है that is safeguarded. ठीक है. Second, talking about the core components of Save Tiger environmental education programs. Like जो environmental education है for tiger conservation, that also works on three domains of learning, which include emotional, that is affective, intellectual, that is cognitive and behavioral. First talking about moving from fear to fascination, that is affective domain, which include traditional attitudes like in rural areas near reserves. जो टाइगर्स हैं उनको कंसिडर किया जाता है, दे आर ऑफन फीयर्ड एज थ्रेट्स टू दियर लाइफ स्टॉक्स एंड ह्यूमन सेफ्टी. एंड इन अर्बन एरियाज जो चिल्ड्रंस है, दे आल्सो सी टाइगर्स only in their books or zoos, which makes them distant and unreal. Similarly, educational intervention which include virtual safaris and nature immersion, like जो schools हैं, they also use virtual reality documentaries and guided visits to the tiger reserves. और जो students हैं, they observe tigers in their natural setting, like the resting place, hunting and about the caring of their cubs. Similarly, they also see a tigress project, how tigress protect her young creates, which further creates empathy and reduces the fear. Similarly, tiger biographies like जो इंडिविजुअल टाइगर्स हैं उनको नेम्स दिए जाते हैं एंड उनको ऑल्सो इंक्लूड किया जाता है इन स्टोरीज लाइक मिचाली ऑफ रणथंबोर. सिमिलरली जो चिल्ड्रंस है, दे ऑल्सो फॉलो देयर लाइफ जर्नीज लाइक ए स्टोरी और बायोग्राफी एंड this ultimately creates a personal bond and emotional investment in their survival. So through these methods जो tiger है, that shifts from being a dangerous predator up to a living being with a family and a story. Second जो है, that is understanding the trophic cascade, that is cognitive domain. To sustain positive attitudes, जो children हैं, they must understand why tigers are important, which include the understanding of food chain and ecosystem, or we can say understanding of food chain and ecosystem education. That is, what if experiment, like in such experiments जो students हैं, इनमें वो एक्सप्लोर करते हैं, सच एज व्हाट हैपन्स इफ टाइगर डिसअपियर्स, डियर पॉपुलेशन विल इंक्रीज अनकंट्रोलेबली, या ओवर ग्रेजिंग जो है दैट डिस्ट्रॉयज वेजिटेशन, या जो सॉइल इरोजन है दैट विल इंक्रीज, या जो रिवर्स है दैट विल ड्राइज अप, एंड जो एग्रीकल्चर है दैट विल सफ़र. सो दिस शोज जो चिल्ड्रन है दे नोस अबाउट जो वन स्पीशी कंट्रोल है दैट balances the entire ecosystem. And ये जो concept है, this concept is also called as trophic cascade. Similarly, ecological footprint awareness, like जो children है, they learn about the excessive use of paper, which leads to the deforestation. They also learn about the electricity demand, which may result in mining or dam construction, and they also learn about urban consumption, how it affects the remote tiger habitats and corridors. So this ecological footprint awareness जो है, it ultimately links personal lifestyle choices with the wildlife conservation. ठीक. थर्ड जो है दैट इज क्रिएटिव एडवोकेसी और बिहेवियरल डोमेन, which is basically the final step in attitude change, that we also called as action, which include kids for tigers program, like जो students हैं they participate in tiger fests, streets plays like nukkad natak, poster making and rallies. और ये जो activities हैं, these activities also spread awareness within the families and communities, and जो children है they also feel proud to act as a tiger ambassador. Similarly, letter writing and appreciation, like जो students हैं they also write letters to the forest gods and rangers, who thank them for their service, and this also builds respect for the conservation professionals, and जो children हैं they also begin to see themselves as a part of a collective national mission. ठीक है. Third, talking about the shifting attitudes or key transformation, like aspect perception जो है, before program we can say जो tiger है it is a dangerous, but after program we can say जो tiger है it is a forest guardian. Similarly, aspect view of forests, before program we can say it is a wasteland, but after program we can say these are the sources of oxygen and water. Similarly, aspect poaching, before program we can say animal product trade, and after program we will say crime against heritage. And similarly, aspect individual role, before program we can say I am powerless, but after program we can say I can make a difference. So ये जो changes हैं, these changes also show how deep and ethical and emotional development जो है that is important to shift the attitude of the people. For talking about the strategies for rural and urban children, which include children in buffer zones or near reserves, which include the conflict resolution education, like to teach safe behavior during tiger encounters, protecting livestock with better enclosures, and to reduce fear-based revenge killing. Similarly, ecotourism awareness, which focuses on showing how tiger tourism creates a job and income, which also help children to see the tiger as a living economic asset rather than a threat. Second जो है that is urban children, like which include consumer awareness, like जो children हैं उनको सिखाया जाता है about the consumer habitats and habitat laws, consumer habits and habitat laws, which also encourage children for recycling waste, conservation, water conservation, and reduce plastic use. Similarly, adapt a tiger programs, like जो classes है they also adapt a tiger and they also receive updates, and which also builds a long-term emotional responsibility and curiosity. Okay. If talking about the success indicators of attitude change, like जो environmental education programs हैं, these programs became successful जब children जो है when they reject wildlife products that are made from skin, bones or teeth, which also influence their parents and elders to support the conservation, and that also show interest in careers like wildlife biology, forestry, and environmental law, which continues conservation activities beyond school requirements. At conclusion, we had learned that कि जो प्रोजेक्ट टाइगर है demonstrates that कि जो conservation है it's not only about protecting animals but rather it is also about shaping human values, and environmental education जो है it places the tiger at the center of learning, which turns scientific knowledge into the moral responsibility. So by changing children's attitude today, India है that will ensure the future generations जो है they will protect the forests, they will respect wildlife, and they will also allow the roar of the tiger to continue echoing through the wilderness. So guys, that's it for today. I hope आपको अच्छे से क्लियर हुआ होगा. अगर कोई भी डाउट कन्फ्यूजन हो तो आप कमेंट सेशन में ज़रूर लिखें. So that's it. I hope you find this video informative. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe to Discipline Talk channel. Thank you for watching.